moon sign deals with reflection, right? And when we're dealing with the actual calculation of how you calculate this sign, it doesn't really make sense when you use Western astrology, and it's very limiting when you actually use Vedic, right? Because if you're going to calculate off the space, moon sign being all about reflection doesn't really deal with spaces. And when you're talking about the constellations, there's way more than 12 actual signs. So to break it down simply, there are actually 88 signs in our ecliptic. So with this being the case, your moon sign gets very deep, because when you're calculating your moon sign, we're talking about the reflection or the constellation that your spirit potentially came from when you were born on this planet. Not only does it tell you much more than what the 12 actual zodiacs can deal with you, it actually tells you where you came from, where your spirit was last located, and where you actually resonate with. Because basically, when you're thinking about your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, your soul is the feeling that separates you and actually makes you an individual. So with that being the case, it makes a lot of sense that when we're dealing with the planet of reflection, the actual seat of your soul, the actual space that dictates how you feel and the vibrations that you choose to ride and reflect on, it kind of makes sense that when picking your space and your little section of the universe that you came from would deal with the actual wave you rode, aka the light that you reflected, the light wave that you rode. So when actually talking about your moon sign, it gets very deep when you start to calculate where you may have came from in your past years, right? As well as where you are reflecting and the mental state that came from wherever you came from, right? So this is why this can get crazy and it gets very deep, and how moon signs are actually much more diverse and widely spread out than people actually think. Because not only is it specific constellations that you may be reflecting, or blends of constellations, there are also individual fixed stars that may directly correlate and influence how you're reflecting and reacting to things. We'll get much more deep into our actual full-fledged astrological calculation video. However, this is just a little teaser to your moon sign and an in-depth reflection on you. So to give you a little teaser on how this may look and what certain constellations and fixed stars may angle certain moon signs, look at this. If you're a Gemini moon, and more specifically a 16-degree Gemini moon, you specifically angle the Orion constellation, but not just the Orion constellation. You angle its ankle of Rigel, right? Usually you're very wealthy if you angle Rigel. You naturally come into money easy. And with you angling the Hunter constellation, you are very focused and not as airheaded as people think. The airheadedness comes with you lacking emotion when you focus on something, and you just basically want to accomplish your goal, and there's no feeling, no fret, no fear about it. It's just your goal and you, because you know if you don't achieve your goal, you're not going to eat. And when your spirit doesn't eat, it can't properly live and feel its energy for anything else until it accomplishes that goal. Orion, the Hunter constellation, right? Much like hunting up there is much like hunting down here. Now, if we move on over a little bit, if you're a Virgo moon, you can angle numerous constellations, but a lot of Virgo moons tend to angle the Largos Navis constellation. This constellation is seen as the ship. And if you know anything about the ship in spirituality or astrology, this is your vessel, your mental vehicle. So people that angle this constellation are very focused on mental health. And if they're a little more aware of spirituality and what they have going on, these people tend to be directly focused on your mental vehicle, your mental vessel. They are actually much more concerned with the actual emotion and feelings that people tend to ride with their mental vehicle, much more than a Virgo moon would. They may act like a Virgo and basically just say the details of what's going on, regardless of how you feel and what emotions you're riding, but they will take note of what emotions you're riding and assess it from a more analytical standpoint. They're not unempathic, they're just not empathic with you. Once again though, I'll go into much more detail when we actually create our video on full-fledged astrological calculations, how to properly calculate your chart, what percentages to pay attention to certain things such as the spaces, constellations, fixed stars. And if you're interested in your actual moon sign and you want to get an in-depth reading on your moon sign and where you came from, you can email us at readings@solarsystems.org. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you're interested, want to look more about us, links down in the description to our Instagram. We'll catch you later, guys. Peace.